Smokey, this is not Nam. This is bowling. There are rules.
You cursed brat! Look what you've done! I'm melting! Melting! Oh, what a world! What a world! Who would have thought a good little girl like you could destroy my beautiful wickedness?
Django.
Who died made you Einstein?
What did you like better, Jedi or The Empire Strikes Back?
Empire.
Blasphemy.
Welcome to this episode of The Good, The Bad and the Old with your hosts Mark and Sam. This week we'll be telling you what we did since last time. We'll be doing our top 5 moments in movies or games that made you pull a face, and we'll be reviewing the currently out movie Evil Dead.
Get the comfy chair!
Hi Sam.
Hey.
Alright then, since last time what have you been up to? Anything worth talking about?
Not that much, really.
No, I haven't been up to that much. I've been kind of busy at work, and you've been kind of busy too, I think.
Yeah.
I've watched a couple of films, and I've read a comic since last time. What have you been up to?
As I said, not much. I started playing Mass Effect 1 again.
Man.
I haven't got all the achievements for it.
I thought, isn't that the one you lost and you had to start again?
Yeah, I lost all the progress of it ages ago. But
Okay, cool. I read Hit Girl, which is the comic that is, that falls between Kick-Ass 1 and Kick-Ass 2. I keep meaning to read Kick-Ass 2, I haven't got around to it, but I read the Hit Girl. Really, really good it was, really good comic, finally.
you've seen the trailer for Kick-Ass 2?
No, I haven't.
So funny.
I was wondering, actually, should we actually start having a little trailers this week segment in future? Watch a couple of trailers.
There's a few out this week.
I haven't seen any, apart from Iron Man 3.
There was the new Iron Man 3 trailer.
Well, let's talk about that.
The Thor 2 trailer. I
haven't seen that.
Thor. No, Into Darkness is the Star Trek.
Star Trek. That looks like London. Am I dreaming, or is that London? It looks like London to me. I don't know.
Maybe.
I don't need to look at it again.
But the new Thor film looks pretty good. Loki's in it, which is always good.
Tom
Hiddleston's very good.
Yeah, he's really good.
It's got Christopher Eccleston, I think, as
Really?
Malekith. The dark elf.
He's got a very angular face, so I can see him being quite a good character in that kind of demigod kind of
It's called
role.
Thor: The Dark World.
Right. I see Thor as like the major stepping stone into the Avengers 2, actually. Of all the Avengers, he's the one who lives on another, outside the Earth, isn't he? So,
Yeah.
kind of makes sense.
It is Christopher Eccleston. That's right.
Oh, cool. Nice. I was talking about Hit Girl, wasn't I?
Yeah.
It was really good. Extremely graphic violence. At one point, she goes completely nuts and really takes out huge crews of people. And they keep calling her, "Who's this midget?" And she gets really cross because people refer to her as a midget rather than a kid. And also, she's trying to integrate into high school. And when it doesn't work, she reverts to her old means to sort of try and make her way in, which is basically dangling the girl that's snubbing her and causing her all the grief at school off of a bridge by her ankle until she starts playing nice. It's Hit Girl all over, isn't it? So I'm gonna read. I'll try and read Kick-Ass 2 for next week, and we'll maybe watch trailer. Maybe we'll try and do a bit of trailer talk then, and try and look at some trailers out now. Oh, which reminds me, there's some news. Have you heard the Xbox? Have you heard about Xbox?
The Xbox.
Right, May the 21st.
Yeah, I know about that.
Oh, you know about that. Yeah, they've got some sort of new major Xbox announcement. So is it going to be the next? Well, it probably will be the next one, I should imagine.
Yeah.
Unless they come with some sort of Kinect 2 or something.
Oh, God.
I don't even want to think about it.
As appealing as it is to have something where I can kind of...
Wave.
No. Just sort of quite... I don't know.
Sorry,
boldly wave my arm and make the Xbox work. As appealing as that is, it just doesn't work.
Yeah, well, also, it kind of loses fanatic. It seems really cool for 10 minutes. It's a bit like the Wii.
The only game that I've played on it that was any good was Gunstringer.
Yeah, there's a zombie one as well, isn't there? I don't know if that's meant to be any good.
A zombie one.
Well, zombie, creepy people running at you in the dark.
Rise of Night. I've heard that's really bad.
Oh, okay. Right, okay. All right, then. I've also watched, since last time, The Omega Man, which is Charlton Heston filmed from the early 70s, where it's kind of a variant on the I Am Legend story, but instead of vampires, they're like these people with a weird infection which causes melanism and aversion to light and psychotic states, so they hate technology and stuff. And it's all right. It's okay. I mean, Charlton Heston made some cool sci-fi films in the early 70s. Soylent Green was another one, and Planet of the Apes was like 60s. So it was okay. There's, apart from the really first one, which was called The Last Man on Earth, there's never been a decent version of that story. I didn't like the Will Smith I Am Legend either. Really? Have you seen that I Am Legend?
Yeah, it was pretty good.
Yeah, I wasn't. I thought the ending.
I
was
liked
pretty
it. The ending
abysmal.
wasn't very good, but everything else was good.
Even all the constant talking about Bob Marley.
What?
It kept going on about Bob Marley.
I don't remember this.
You must have blotted it from your mind. It was really irritating.
No, I can't.
Okay. He did. He kept going on. Google I Am Legend Bob Marley. Anyway, it was going about how people did to love it. Oh, never mind. Anyway, another one I recently watched is Goonies, in which I watched it about an hour before we started this, which is alright. I've seen it many times before. It grated on me a bit, I have to say. I think I had a bit of a headache when it started, and the kids, especially Chunk, can give you a bit of a headache when it goes on. Having said that, I did laugh at some of the bits where, for example, when the villains catch him and say to Chunk, "Tell us everything," and he starts confessing to every single sin he's ever done.
He tells his life story.
He tells his life story, like he nicked his uncle's toupee to pretend it was Moses' beard in a school production, things like that. And he went to the cinema and pretended with fake vomit and pretended to be sick and made everyone sick. And at one point, the villain actually says, "You know what? I like this kid." The kind of little relationship he forms with what's his name? Sloth. Yeah, it's kind of cool too. It's a silly film, but it's kind of fun. It's Richard Donner. It's funny. It's weird seeing Sean Astin in it when he was a little kiddie rather than in Lord of the Rings. Josh Brolin's in it. And he can't act at all in this film. He's a really great actor now, but in this film he's terrible. And it's kind of fun. I wouldn't. I think it's something like 7.7 on IMDb, which I wouldn't rate it that high. But I think if you're in the right mood, it's a really good film, and if you're not in the mood, it's a really annoying, grating, horrible film. Alright, okay, so that's it for me for this week. Have you got any others?
No.
It's all games for you, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, alright then, shall we go in now? Top 5 movies or games scenes that made you pull a face.
Number 5 is Alive.
Okay, do you want to start this or shall I?
I'll start it.
Okie doke.
This is kind of back to Kick-Ass. It's Big Daddy's death.
Yeah,
when
did you imagine
when
pull a
he's
face?
sitting there in the flames, and I'm just like my cringe is slowly getting worse and worse. Like, oh. And then they uncover him afterwards, and he's all burnt.
Yeah, it's kind of grim, isn't it? It's like, ooh. I mean, you know, this list to me falls into two camps. One's where faces where you're just so surprised that something's not happened that you weren't expecting, or it's something really grim on screen. It's like, it just makes you cringe, or like, we called it this because there was quite a lot of moments in the Evil Dead movie you pulled a face. We'll get onto that.
Yeah.
But yeah, Big Daddy, that's a cool one. Yes. All right. My number 5 is from Texas Chainsaw Massacre, which is this is the original, made in 1973. It has a scene right near the end where basically this poor girl is the last survivor, and this horrible weird family have got her in a room, and they're trying to get this old granddad figure who's like, you think he's dead, but he actually starts moving to actually kill her with a hammer, because he used to do it in the old days and he was always the expert. That's their thinking. So this poor girl's like sitting in this room, they're making her kneel down, screaming her head off, where they keep giving this hammer to this old guy to try and hit her, but he's just sitting there and it keeps slipping out of his hand, and she screams and screams, and in it it's like, oh, please do something. When you're watching it, it makes your skin crawl. Anyway, your number, what's it, 4?
Yeah, my number 4. My number 4 is a cross between two sort of bits, but they're in the same game series.
Oh, it's a game, yeah.
Yeah, it's a game. But it's a scene in the first Fear game where you see this little ghost girl melt a load of soldiers.
Right, what, are they attacking her? Or?
They're like running away from her and she just goes, and they melt. Just skeletons left. Loads of blood everywhere.
And you weren't expecting that?
Yeah, it's like, whoa!
Oh, man. So is it cut?
These guys are kind of, just before this kind of like the Colonial Marines in Aliens.
Yeah.
Where they're just like, hooah, come on, let's do this.
And then
they immediately get melted by this little girl.
I don't know why that's making me think of like the bit where the aliens first land in Mars Attacks. You know, we come in peace, all that.
And the
cool.
second,
yeah, go on.
The second one is in Fear 2. These are kind of, as you said, the two ends. I was shocked by that one, but I was utterly horrified by the second one, because the kind of the last boss of Fear 2 is you're running around this arena with a ghost attacking you.
Okay.
And you have to activate panels. But whenever you activate one, the idea for the arena is you're trapped inside your mind.
Right.
And you're attacking this ghost girl.
Yeah.
But she's actually fully grown, and it's really confusing. So you keep getting brief flashes back to reality. Just before this, she appeared in person before you,
right,
in corpse and all. You keep getting flashes back to reality where you see her like thrashing about on top of you, and then it cuts back to the arena, and you have to start fighting again.
Yeah,
it does this like 2 or 3 times. You activate the last panel. You think it's all over. The front of this machine that you're in lifts up, and she's standing there, and she's pregnant. Are you seeing where this is going?
No.
She raped you.
Oh, I see. Right, I'm with you.
And then she like grabs your hand, puts it on the stomach, and you just hear in whispers, "Daddy." It's like, no.
Nice.
The next time you see the character, he's insane. So.
Yep. Okay, that sounds cool. Yeah, I've not played any of the Fear games. I don't really like horror games, apart from the survival ones. Really.
Well, it kind of splits. There's like long sequences where you're just getting scared.
Yeah.
And then it's gunfights.
The reason I don't play them is I find them way too intense. I mean, films can be intense. Evil Dead's quite an intense film. But there's something about the sustained intensity of games, and the fact you're in control rather than just sitting there watching, makes them just a bit unbearable for me, actually, to be honest. Which is wimpy, isn't it? Alright then. Okay, should I go to my number 4?
Yeah, okay.
Alright, let's see if you can guess this. I'm going to kind of try and describe it. My number 4 involves a magic trick where something disappears. That something is a pencil.
Oh.
I
thought you want to see a magic trick. I thought, that sounds Pennywise?
Pennywise, no. It's a film. Pennywise is a good one, but no.
It's a clown, but...
Yeah, it's the Joker in The Dark Knight, where we first encounter him doing a trick with a pencil, making a pencil disappear, which, if I remember rightly, the whole cinema went, whoa! as soon as he did that trick. So I think everyone pulled a face in that one.
Yeah.
Very, very great introduction to one of the great cinema characters, in my opinion. Anyway, I can't really say more than that. It's obviously a face-pulling moment. Anyway, your number 3.
My number 3 is in the Evil Dead 2,
Yeah.
where I think, if I remember rightly, Ash is trying to chase around his possessed hand with a gun, and he starts like shooting. It crawls into the walls, and he starts shooting it.
Yeah.
And the wall starts, and some blood comes out the wall. He thinks he's got it, and then blood starts spraying out the wall,
Yeah.
and then blood starts like being fired out the wall at him.
Yeah, it's
and
like,
the room's
it's like
just,
about
getting
10 water
full of
cannons,
blood.
isn't it? Yes, very nice. Very funny as well. It's it's not a horrific face pulling moment. It's like, wow, they really did that. Yeah, very nice, very nice.
I do like how in that film Ash, he kind of becomes tired of it, and it's just annoyance on his face whenever he's like lying in this massive puddle of blood. He's just like,
yeah, he goes beyond scared, doesn't he? He just
Yeah.
gets exasperated and angry. He turns into a grumpy old guy, basically.
Yeah.
I also like the fact that Hand's got his own little voice, isn't it? Almost
Yeah.
it goes, "Wee, wee, 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 wee."
it sounds like
so
a gremlin,
ridiculous.
pretty much.
Yeah. Okay, my number 3 is actually it's both. This one does both. It's like a shock and a kind of disgust at the same time. It's a film. I think we've covered this. I'm pretty sure we've covered this. We certainly covered one of its associated movies, and it's 1979, Ridley Scott, Alien, the chestburster.
Okay.
That was a real surprise when you first saw it.
Yeah.
I can't remember knowing about it when I saw the film. I did see the film in '79, but I find it hard to believe I wasn't aware of it coming. But I can't remember for sure. I do remember it was like a whoa, what the hell when it happened. When you watch it back, it's not. It looks a little cheesy in places, but it's still quite an effective scene. And like I say, it combines both. It's kind of a shock they did it and a shock that something really disgusting just happened. Okay, your number 2.
My number 2's from Mass Effect. I forgot this happened in the early portions of the game. Mass Effect 1 is a 12. Let me say this first of all. Well, and you're introduced to these enemies called the Geth, which are like robots.
Yeah.
And you see them like holding this guy. He seems kind of out of it, like he's just woken up or something. And they're holding him on this machine. And then this massive spike just like lifts him up in the air.
No, I remember that.
Straight through his chest.
Yeah,
Oh.
I remember that bit. I've not played much Mass Effect, but I played it to that point, and I was very shocked when that happened. Because, like you say, it's at 12. You just do not expect stuff like that. So I'm amazed it passed. They were people. They weren't robots or.
It was people that were being impaled. And then like later, you find out what these big things, they're called dragon's teeth.
Yeah.
What these things do. They turn people into these monsters called husks.
Okay,
which
I
are
didn't
like
get that far into it.
cyborg zombies.
Right. I do remember one point walking through part of the game and you see a row of people impaled. Is that
Yeah.
right? It's kind of shocking for a 12, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. Right, that's your number 2, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was my number
we're getting
2.
to the end. Right, my number 2 is... it's another moment which is a bit like it combines complete disgust with actual shock that it happened. And I'm pretty sure when this was shown on the screen, there was absolutely nothing like it before, ever, in cinema. And that's from... I can't remember what year it was. It's John Carpenter's The Thing. Now, there's lots of what the hell moments. I mean, I could talk about the bit where the guy's getting the CPR on the chest and the chest opens with big teeth and bites his arms off. Or I could talk about the dog growing giant arms coming up and pulling it into see him. But what
I'd say the worst
head.
bit with the dog was its head unfolds.
Oh, yeah, that was
and then
another
the
bit.
skull drops
There was
off.
lots of the Thing was a real fantastic bit of practical effect work. Lots of it. Not all of it, but lots of it. But the bit I'm going to mention most is the bit where the guy's head falls off, grows legs, and starts scuttling around the room. And I think one of the characters actually said something to convey the audience as a surprise.
What the hell?
Yeah, it's a
No.
real...
I remember he turns around and goes, "You gotta be kidding me."
Yep. I've never saw anything like that before in my life when I saw that, and it was like a real audience gasping kind of moment. Anyway, we got a really solid list here.
Yeah.
All right, you're number one. Well, I'm interested to see if we have the same one. I've got a feeling we might.
My number one is from. Admittedly, it's not that great a film, but it's Alien vs Predator Requiem.
I've not seen it.
It's
It's
not a great film.
I wouldn't mind seeing it, but go on.
But the Pred Alien is an interesting idea.
Yeah.
What happens is the Pred Alien, it can operate on its own. It doesn't need a queen or anything.
Yeah.
It walks into a hospital.
Right.
And this is where you discover that the Pred Alien can essentially make its inner mouth into a face hugger.
Oh. So it can lay eggs
and then
in
it
people.
walks into the pregnancy ward.
Ooh. All right. Okay. Look, I've got a real crick in my shoulder now just thinking about that. That sounds really rough.
And later you see a pregnant woman with 4 chest bursters coming out of her.
Nice.
Her belly.
That sounds charming. I've got to say, I'll have to see it now. I want to see such a grossly bad taste film. I think I need to see this film. Right, nice.
It's like, well, you can see the eggs going down her throat. And
yeah, it sounds like the sort of film I need to see, frankly. Okay. No, you didn't have the same number one as me. You'll be surprised here. No. Well, one reason is I haven't even seen it, but never mind. Mine is from, I think it's 81, but I can't be sure. It might be not quite that. It might be a bit younger than that. A bit older than that. It's the second in quite a famous trilogy. The very end. And trust me, when this happened, and if you weren't aware of it, it was a real drawing a big intake of air, as you find out. It's the end of Empire Strikes Back, when Luke finds out Darth Vader's his father. And not only was it a shock, I have to tell you, people, well, I did, and my friends did, we talked for years until Return of the Jedi come out, discussing lots of bits of the Empire Strikes Back, and that was this particular scene was one of the main talking points, because we weren't convinced. We thought it might be a trick, and until Return of the Jedi came out and confirmed it, we weren't sure. So it was a constant source of discussion, because no one could quite believe it how it played out. So that's my number one pull a face when something surprising happens moment. All right, have you got any honourable mentions?
I've got the Bruce Banner saying that he's always doing the "I'm always angry" line in Avengers. I was putting a face.
That was very cool.
Like an idiot.
That was a green moment. Yes, a good choice. I haven't done a green moment.
I'm always angry.
And also the bit where Loki starts kicking off and saying, how dare you threaten me? And the Hulk smashes into pieces and just walks off. Puny God. That bit's a real grin moment too. But yeah, the always angry. Good one. I've got one or two. Have you got any others? You might agree with a few of mine. I've got beginning of Raiders when the ball starts rolling.
Yeah.
If you hadn't seen that before, that was really fantastic. Real grin kind of moment.
Yeah.
Another one I got is from a film called Point Break. And it's a not okay film. It's one with Keanu Reeves and Patrick Swayze about these like surfer bank robbers dudes called. Yeah, all right, okay. It's better than it sounds. It's by Catherine Bigelow, who's like doing great guns now with stuff like Zero Dark 30 and stuff. She's made a couple of decent films early in her career. One was a film about roving vampires, which is really great, called Near Dark. Lance Henriksen, the woman that played Vasquez as his wife, Bill Paxton. Does that sound like a great film or not? And then Nutty Vampire Gang, who like take over a bar and start slaughtering people, but have a laugh while they're doing it. It's a good film, you'd like it. Anyway, how did I get onto this? Yeah, she made this Point Break film. Now, it's an okay film. It's not great, but it's okay. Patrick Swayze's the leader of this gang, and Keanu Reeves is an FBI officer who has to go in undercover, but he sort of kind of goes native and becomes one of them. Yeah. Kind of, but still is a cop. And right near the end, Patrick Swayze puts on a parrot. They're in a plane, And he basically puts on a parachute and jumps out and leaves Keanu Reeves on the plane. So he's escaped. And Keanu Reeves is like, thousands of feet in the air, no parachute. And he says, oh, the hell with it. Jumps out of the plane without a parachute, which I just was not expecting. And when I saw that, I was like, whoa, he just jumped out of the plane without a parachute. The idea is he's going to catch up with the guy, jump on him and wrestle him for the parachute, which they kind of did in a really bad way of Moonraker, but in Point Break you just do not expect it, and it was that. And my last one, which is a real cringy moment, is from the film Misery, the hobbling scene. Yeah,
I've not even seen the film,
but the hobbling scene too. Yeah, a lot of people in Britain know about the hobbling scene because they took the mickey out of it in a French and Saunders sketch, and like afterwards the legs were like, I don't know, they were like, I don't know, it's like a slinky kind of thing. It was kind of fun. Alright, pretty solid list that was. I really enjoyed thinking those through. It was kind of hard at first, but when you started thinking, more and more came. Alright then, let's move on to this year's Evil Dead.
Are you tired of film podcasts where the hosts exist in a constant blissful state of agreement?
I mean, the main characters are two of the dullest main characters I have ever encountered in any film.
Well, you're in luck. Let me introduce you to Chinstroker and Punter. One is an ex-film student with a penchant for David Lynch and hard cinema. The other is a man on the street. Listen in perplexed and horrified terror as we tear apart one film a week.
Just really
It's not visually striking.
No.
Just getting confirmation.
It's just that's the third time though. I mean, is this on?
You can find us at chinstrokerversuspunter.podomatic.com. So come and share the victory.
Alright, so now it's time for the clean promo. And I'm noticing that a lot of the promos we've received are way better than ours.
Yeah, but they're also for shows that are way better than ours. But hey, I'm El Goro.
And I'm the Cancer Man.
And we are the hosts of Talk Without Rhythm.
The only podcast that will not attract the worm.
That really doesn't explain what we do, sir.
We watch 2 movies a week, we review them, we chat about things, and occasionally we say something funny.
Yeah, but most of the time we just seem to make people angry.
That's because the American film viewing public can't handle most of what we have to say.
But if you think you can find us on iTunes. If you do a search for Talk Without Rhythm, you can also find us on our website, TWORpodcast.blogspot.com, baby.
Deuces.
So clean.
There can be only one.
Okay, well, we're going to spoil this. I don't think we can avoid it. I did think, before we even saw the film, it won't matter if we spoil it. Everyone knows what to expect. But there are actually some bits in this that might spoil your enjoyment if you know about them going in. It might be better if you don't know them. One thing I will say, which we didn't wait for, which I found out afterwards, is there's a post-credit little short scene, which I've seen. There's not much to see. But we left the cinema before that. But I'd say if you go see it, stay right to the end just to see it. Why not? Hell, why not? Okay, what was your general thoughts on it? We'll do without spoilers first. So what was your general thoughts?
Early on in the film, I thought that it wasn't going to be very good because they were going with kind of a silly
cliche.
It seemed more like it was going to be a cult film.
Yeah,
with like some cult hunting them in the woods.
With I see. Yes, people. Yes, I'm with you now. Yeah,
and then there was like the drug addicted people, and
one thing I will say,
it started off not looking very good.
Yeah, I didn't feel that. What I did feel was some bits I didn't understand, which we'll get onto when we get to spoilers in terms of what are those, what's going on there. But what I will say is generally they took some of the existing weird, disparate elements of the original, and they weaved them into a coherent story that actually made sense. Horrifying. They made it even more horror. That's true. But bits of it made a lot more sense while you doing the same kind of Evil Dead tropes. And there were other bits that didn't make any sense at all. But I sort of appreciated that. I did appreciate the fact that they've actually tried to make the story more coherent. The other thing I'll say about it is it looked really fantastic, this film. Did you think? The photography was really spot on. There were some really nice scenes. And if you don't mind blood, there's some really great photography which involved blood. In fact, the end credits looked pretty nice, even though all they were was splashing blood, pretty much.
Yeah.
But they looked nice. They did look nice. And other scenes not involving blood looked really nice too. So I thought the photography was really good. In terms of his directorial style, there was definitely he definitely did some Sam Raimi tricks in this. There were definite shots that looked like Sam Raimi had done them, to me. There was like a few shots where it was like a real intense close-up of someone, but you also saw the background and things happening behind them. So like half the screen was someone's face really close up, and then there was stuff going on behind them, which is the Sam Raimi thing. He's done
Sam
that.
Raimi was producer.
Yes,
so.
I appreciate that, but I was just saying. No, I think that the director of this seemed fairly competent, so I think those were deliberate homages to the original film. What do you think of the acting?
It was, again, early on, it wasn't that great.
It didn't come across, did it? But the only one that I like consistent, I kind of felt the same at the beginning. It felt a bit poor, apart from the guy who, I can't remember his name, but with the guy who looked like he was from the 70s. There was
David,
a guy,
I think.
let's call him. No, David was the brother.
Yeah.
But there was another
Eric.
Eric. He, I thought he was quite good all the way through. I liked him as a character. I've heard in another podcast they called him Shaggy because he's from the 70s as a nerd, which is kind of appropriate. But let's just call him 70s nerd. I thought he was quite good, but the sister grew on me. Actually, I thought she got better and better as it went on. Is that it for the non-spoiler bits? The music was nice.
Yeah.
In fact, I couldn't quite tell. Was the beginning music the original beginning music done brought up to date with a full orchestra? It sounded very similar. I'm not entirely sure on that though. And the other, I was going to say something, but I think it could be considered spoiler, so we'll skirt that. Okay, should we go into? Do you want to? Should we rate it now, or should we wait until the end? We kind of like it.
Yeah, we like.
All right,
it.
we'll
Go
get on
see
to
it.
ratings towards the end. If you're a horror fan, you have to go and see this, definitely. All right, we'll go into spoilers from now. Okay, so. Firstly, the sister sitting on the Ash's Oldsmobile. Is it an Oldsmobile? I can't remember.
Yeah.
Is this a sequel? Is this a parallel universe? What do you reckon?
I just think it's something there for a reference.
You think they're pulling a bit of a chain?
Yeah.
I don't know. I see this as possibly a sequel.
Ash does appear in a post-credit scene.
Right, yeah. But what I understand in the post-credit scene, or the bits I've seen about it, it's basically his head in the dark, and he turns to the camera and says "groovy." So that doesn't mean anything really. It could be anything. It was kind of cool to see it though. Right, let's start at the beginning. The beginning scene has a woman running in the woods, and then she gets caught. And then there's an old guy who's her dad who's got her tied up and says he has to burn her. And then we see she's possessed, don't we? That was all fine, made sense to me. I didn't understand all the other people there. Did you?
Yeah.
The mutant-looking people. What was that all about? I still don't know.
I thought it was going to be the dad that was possessed up until she's like, we finished. She just goes, "I will swallow your soul," and then she starts looking all possessed.
Yes.
It's like, that was kind of a blindside.
Yeah, I wasn't that shocked by that. It was kind of nice. It wasn't a completely obvious or anything. I found that fine, and like I say, I found the dad sort of saying, "You killed your mother," and all this, and her not being aware of it, to me indicates she was possessed. I still didn't understand what all the other people there were doing there with the weird They were like mutants or something, weren't they? Some of them were, anyway.
One had no nose.
Yeah, and presumably those people left all the dead cats and things.
Yeah, what?
See, what was that all about? It did make sense to me.
Also, where did the million-year-old Book of the Dead have barbed wire cat drawings?
Yeah, well, I figured that the people wrapped it up and left it deliberately. Why they do that? Again, that bit doesn't make sense. There's bits of this story that are more coherent, but bits like the beginning are less. It's like, how did the book get there? Who were those people? Where have they gone? Why are there dead cats hanging around in barbed wire in the cellar or dungeon or whatever it is? What's going on? However, okay, so the it's basically 5 people go to this cabin because one of them is a junkie. This girl Mia is a junkie, and they want to help her go through cold turkey and get off the drug because she's already. Her brother David, who didn't know this before because he basically ran out on her, has run out on the family, didn't realise she'd OD'd and had to sort of had shock. What do they call it? ECG. No. Yeah. Where they basically put the electric things on you to jolt your heart. He didn't realise she'd come so close to death. And Shaggy actually mentions that she was technically dead at one point. Anyway, so that all gives us a premise for them to stay in this cabin in the woods, which is part of their family property. That was a weird thing too, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And then Mia starts going on about she can smell something dead, doesn't she? None of the rest can smell it, but then a dog. I thought the dog would be more significant in this story. Actually,
I thought the dog was going to be a deadite or something.
I thought that, the dog would be the defence against deadites, which it kind of brings in a trope from a film series called The Hills Have Eyes, which is famous for having a dog as like the saving people by jumping on mutants and ripping their throats out and stuff. And that's it. After taking aside, there is actually a bit in The Hills Have Eyes 2, which is quite a poor sequel made in the mid-80s, where there's a lot of flashbacks and the actual dog has its own flashback. You see it go to the dog and wavy lines appear, so the dog's remembering something. It's like, wow, they didn't go there, did they? Anyway, yeah, so there's a dog in there. Oh, what was I saying? So the dog starts pouring at the floor and they move back a mat which seems to be caked in blood, and there's this cellar thing. Now, if I'm in a cabin in the woods, the last thing I am doing is going down a cellar. But hey, it's a film.
I have to give them props. These are probably the only people that, when they find the culty stuff, they clean it up.
Yes. Yeah.
It's like they cut the cats down and they put it in the a rubbish bin and then they throw it out.
No, I thought them cats would come back to life, but it didn't. And essentially, the girl runs out into the woods and the tree rape kind of thing happens, doesn't it?
Yeah.
In tandem with Shaggy reading some of the words from this book that he's found. This, to me, makes more sense than the first film's version of it, which is much more random. You know that something's been brought to life in the woods, but you don't understand why certain things that happen. You don't understand why certain characters are getting picked to be deadites when some aren't. But this shows how they become, indicates how they become the deadites, doesn't it? Through fluids.
Yeah. But I still prefer it in the first one, because in the first one, they kind of unknowingly do it. In this one, he opens the book. It has scrawled on the top, "Don't read, don't write it down." What's he do?
Yeah.
He writes it down and reads it aloud.
Yeah, so 70s nerd brings on all the trouble, doesn't he?
Again, give him tops, he tries to solve it. He tries to burn the book.
Yeah, and it don't work, does it? It's like asbestos, this book. What made me
human flesh, but...
What made me laugh kinda in this was he seemed to be the one that had all the real physical damage done to him.
Yeah.
Really horrible stuff.
Like, we need something. Go get Eric.
Go get in a fight with.
We need someone having a crowbar being beaten with a crowbar. Eric, come over here a second.
Your turn. We need someone being shot with a nail gun. Eric. It's kind of fun. This. So basically, Mia being raped by the tree in the woods. Or it's kind of not just a rape, it's a parasitation. I can't even say it. It's like a mud parasite.
It's a giant thorny slug made of branches.
Yes. Which seems to go inside her, and then she becomes kind of possessed. Or she starts acting weird, but of course they know she's going into cold turkey, so they don't realise exactly what's going on. And then at one point, she stands in a shower and turns it to scalding hot and gets all these burns. They try and rush her to hospital, but the rivers are flooded, so they can't get away. Meanwhile, Eric's looking at the book and seeing there's bits where people are obviously getting scalded. It's like, okay, we're following the book here. And then she turns, doesn't she? She becomes the first Deadite. They lock her in the cellar. She says things like, you're all going to die and all this sort of stuff. And then there's one woman who's got barely a character at all, blonde girl.
Again, she takes steps to try and stop it.
She does.
She gets bitten by Mia, and she sees the infection crawl up her arm. She takes an electric knife and she cuts her arm off.
Now,
it doesn't work, but still.
That was a face-pulling moment for me when she started trying to cut her own arm off. Or, no, not even trying, cutting her own arm off. I'm sure some of it... They've made a lot of play about this being a practical effects film, but I'm sure there was some CGI in that bit.
Yeah.
There had to have been. And that's pretty cool. And there's some really nasty stuff involving poor old Eric. He gets stabbed. He gets nail gunned. He gets a hypodermic needle stuck in his eye. And he has to pull it out. We see that in close-up. They put some really... I don't think I've seen such intense stuff on a mainstream cinema sort of screen in a lot. I can't remember the last time I did, actually. The sort of stuff you usually see these sort of films in that go straight to video, usually. Props to that, actually. Poor old Eric. I did feel sorry for him, but he did make me laugh. I was laughing a lot towards the end when stuff like that was happening.
Yeah.
Do you think it was a scary film?
There were bits that were scary, but it was mostly just because creepy girl was screaming at the screen.
Yeah. Or just coming out of the shadows. They were jump scares, really. I found it more intense than scary. I didn't find it particularly scary, but I did appreciate the level of intensity it brought to this. There was a real air of expectation that something dreadful was going to happen, and it did, usually. Right? Or it was usually much worse than you actually thought was going to happen. I thought it was, like I say, the photography was really, really terrific. The Deadites did have behaviours that were kind of similar to the original Deadites too. Did you know? Like the weird twitching and stuff like that, and the weird voices.
I'm still annoyed they didn't say swallow your soul.
She did at the end, didn't it?
Didn't.
She just sort
of goes, I will devour your soul.
Oh, okay. It's not swallow your soul.
It sort of groans it out rather than screams it.
Yeah, so there were 5 in this. Some were kind of forgettable, but not bad. Mia grew on me as an actress. I didn't like her at first, but I thought she did. That makeup was really good as well, wasn't it?
Yeah.
The Deadite makeup, when she was a Deadite, I thought she was really good. What did you think of David?
I was annoyed he wasn't Ash, but it's like, oh, he's wearing a blue shirt, he's got jeans, it's Ash. Hi, David.
I'm still annoyed. They never did the Freddy versus Jason versus Ash film with Bruce Campbell. Anyway, you got to get over him, haven't you? There were definitely tropes from the first film, wasn't there? There was a double barrel, the first 2 films actually. I can't remember. Was a shotgun in the first one? There was a shotgun. There was a chainsaw.
Boomstick.
Yeah, not in the first one though. Very first one I'm talking about. I'm not sure. Anyway, I have seen the guy that played David before in another horror film, which is quite a cool film called Dead Girl, which is
that sounds like a really bad superhero film.
The
to
premise
the rescue,
is quite
Dead
grim.
Girl.
I don't really want to go into it. The premise is quite grim, and I think I can't remember. There was 2 guys in it, and one was like a bad guy, and the other one was like a good bad guy, if you know what I mean. And I think he was the good bad guy. In that, he looked a lot like a Johnny Depp clone. He didn't look so much like Johnny Depp in this film. He's got a bit older. I think that one was from like 5 years ago, and he was quite young in that, so I think he aged a bit more. He wasn't bad. It wasn't great, but he wasn't bad.
No, but he wasn't
70s
Ash.
Geek was 70s Geek I liked.
Yeah.
For some reason, he reminded me a bit of Sam Rockwell. It's the sort of thing Sam Rockwell would have done in his early days, and he did it quite well. And I think we might see more of that fella.
I hope we see more of that fella.
Yeah. I'm just reading through my notes on this film. Another note I've put is they should have called this film There Will Be Blood. because
there is so much
so
blood.
much blood. And the last third of it rains blood at
It's
one point.
literally raining blood.
It rains blood, and the ground is soaked in blood. The mud is red. That's how bloody it is. What was? I've got another note here. That was the garden. Now the book. Eric was reading the book and trying to interpret the pictures to sort of try and explain things. Now he did all these things. He had all these explanations. Like for example, he said, "Look, there's a picture here showing we could destroy it by fire, or we can dismember, or we can do bury alive to stop the the god or something. I can't remember.
I can't remember what it's called.
The thing coming, the thing or whatever it is." Now, when I was watching, I said, "How does he know that's how to stop it? Maybe that's the way to invoke it." I don't know. And funnily enough, they did all the things, or a lot of the things in the book to try and stop it, and it still came. So I wondered if he just misinterpreted the pictures.
Well, it's still got its 5 souls.
Yeah, well, did it get 5 souls? Let's just think.
David, Eric, the nurse woman.
No. Eric was not possessed at the point he died. Not Eric. David was never possessed. Unless they mean from the, right at the beginning, the pre.
Yeah, I'm talking about. I was saying they got 5, well, possibly 6 now.
Yeah.
I said David, Eric, nurse lady, the blonde
lady.
woman. There was the teenager at the start, and I was thinking the dog.
The dog was never possessed.
Grandpa the dog.
Nah, the dog was never possessed. Didn't it just get hammered before it was, with a hammer?
Yeah.
Yeah, it just made me. It was just interesting that it could have been he was completely misinterpreting the book, and they were actually doing the stuff to bring the demon or whatever.
It's called the abomination.
The abomination to life, which it did come to life. Now, about the abomination, were you surprised when all that kicked off? Because it looked like it had ended, and then suddenly everything went bad again, and it was kind of fun.
Yeah.
And actually, that was probably the scariest bit of the whole film for me. It was very intense. I kind of liked it when that weird thing came out in the ground and was crawling around. It kind of looked like her as well, didn't it? It looked like Mia.
It was the poster for the original Evil Dead.
Yeah, you raised that point to me. I never even noticed. There's a picture in the book of it coming out of the ground, and if you compare it to the original the poster from the Evil Dead, it's the same shot. So nice catch there, mate. Nice catch. I liked this film. I did. I thought I liked the way it tied up some of the more incoherent elements of the first film into a coherent whole. However, there were bits in it that didn't make sense to me. The beginning bit in particular, and the reason the thing because I thought it was all fine, and suddenly it all kicked off. There was another incoherency, which was Mia was scalded quite badly and suffering from burns, and at one point she actually licks a knife and cuts her tongue down the middle. But when she comes, there's a bit where Mia gets she basically dies, but David brings her back to life with a shock, and she's all right again. So she hasn't got any burns. She's got no damage to her tongue. That didn't make sense either. But it's a horror film.
The way I assume it is, if you're a ghost, you wouldn't want your host to be damaged.
Yeah. So
and I'm assuming something called the abomination can heal its host.
Yeah, I guess that must be it. That must be it. Fair enough. So this Dead Diet thing was a bit different. It had a purpose, kind of. It was trying to get to a point, whereas in the original Evil Dead, it's like let's possess people and have fun and let everyone die, kind of thing. So it's kind of interesting that way. Overall, I like this film. Anything else to say about it?
It wasn't called the Necronomicon Ex Mortis.
You didn't like it, and that bugged
me.
Well, we all know
it's the Necronomicon.
We all know that's what it is. There were some cool pictures in it. Overall, I like this. I have to say the photography was absolutely brilliant in this. The DP did a really sterling job. I don't know who he is or what he's done. Didn't look it up on IMDb, but it's a really
the DP.
Good, yeah, who? Director of photography, the one who shot it.
Cinematographer, but I can't.
Yeah, cinematographer. Whatever.
Okay, then that's Aaron Morton.
What else has he done? Do you know?
Just a sec.
Do you have a bit of trouble finding it?
Here we go.
But he's done nothing.
He's done some TV shows for Sam Raimi. He did episode of Xena Warrior Princess.
That's years old now.
Yeah.
Well, the guy has a lot of talent, whoever it. If that's the guy that arranged the shot, decided what lenses and what shots and stuff like that, he's got a lot of talent. It looks lovely. It looks really spectacularly good for what it should be a grindhouse horror film. I like this film. What would you give it out of 100?
Oh, quite high up, 80.
I actually rated this when we came out at 62. I thought, yeah, it was okay. But that was a couple of days ago, and I've had a chance to think about it. And the more I think about it, the more I realised I liked quite a lot of it. So I'm going to upgrade my rating from 62 to 74, actually. I think it was really good. I actually think this is a much better film than the original Evil Dead, the first film. Not Evil Dead 2 or Army of Darkness, but I think it's a better film than the Evil Dead.
Oh, on Army of Darkness.
Yeah.
Just going over Sam Raimi's IMDb, it says for future projects, Army of Darkness 2.
He's announced it, that's why. But now he's sort of said, no, I was kind of kidding. But I'd love to see Army of Darkness 2. Army of Darkness should be a TV show every week, frankly. Anyway, and so should Ash. Ash should be on our screens more.
Yeah.
Or even at all. Okay, so what did you say, 80?
Yeah.
I'll say 74. We both obviously like this, so between a 77. What is it on IMDb? Have you got it out?
1 second.
I should have said all this. Got all this sorted at the beginning.
7.1.
Okay, so we both like it higher than that. We enjoyed this. If you're not a horror buff, you aren't going to like this film. I can tell you that now. There is so much blood and really gory. What another point that made me pull a face was when her arm fell off. She tried to cut it off and it was still hanging by a tendon or something, and then it finally fell off as she's talking. It's like, what? If you don't like that kind of film, if you don't like horror films, you aren't going to like this. If you do like horror films, I think you will. I think you'll get something out of it. Okay, I think we're kind of about done there.
Yeah.
That's good. I mean, we did The Evil Dead not that long ago, didn't we?
No.
How do you rate it compared to the original? I mean, the original,
I like this one because I like the characters in it better.
But the
original one is... It has Ash, but not Ash.
Not Ash. Ash is proper Evil Dead 2 onwards, really, isn't it? Yeah. There were some kind of make you pull a face moments in the first one too, though. The bit with a pencil in the ankle.
Yeah. Oh, and then she starts twisting it and like spinning it around, twiddling it. Ugh.
But this was a pretty good film. I did enjoy it. I'm not going to buy it. I don't think I'm going to buy it or anything. It's not one I'd watch over and over again or anything. But I did enjoy it, and I'm glad I saw it at the cinema. I really am. I think the cinema makes it a little better. This one. Okay, all right then. Should we say bye-bye?
Okay.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.
Please. You have to get me out of here.
Leave this book alone.
No. You don't understand. There was something in the woods. And I think it's in here with us now.
You're all going to die tonight.
I read a passage from that book. I released something evil.
Oh my god! Why did you do that? Oh, that's like